It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The B Show. I am your host, Deborah Voltaire Coulons. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's do a little recap of this week, like usual, shall we? Today, we should start that first. It is Earth Day. That's why I'm learning a little colors, make it look like it's around the world, blah, 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 blah. Today is the day where we appreciate Mother Nature. And Mother Nature's been wilding out if you live in the New York area because it's been spring, winter, summer, fall, all this week. But, I strictly remember when Al Gore was running for president that no one voted for him. But I also remembered he just kept talking about like the climate and global warming, and no one listened. And now I feel like, we're a couple years into the year that he was running, and maybe he was a little right. Maybe I'm just saying. So I know there's so many things that we need to do to take care of our environment so that we can live a better life. So, let's do those little things that we need to do, like recycling and using brown bags instead of paper bags, not plastic straws or styrofoam. Try to really, use things that you can reuse and reuse. I know for my house, I have officially stopped using water bottles. We only drink water out of our Brita, and if we need to go somewhere, we fill it up and we go. I just think, little things that we can do to help us live a better life. I did read once that during the virus that pollution and stuff was down because so many people were home. So you see, that means we are effing up the environment, people. So let's do better. Let's see. Also, this week was a big, big week. If you are human and walking in the world, you know that this week was the verdict for George Floyd, and thank God it was guilty. This was one step for Black Lives Matter. And when I mean Black Lives Matter, meaning that we do matter, and that, something that happened like this on such a big, big platform. Don't get me wrong. It's so sad to say this, but many people get murdered, lynched by the police, but we do not get to see it, and it's not broadcast like this was. So, this really hurt a lot of people, especially the time of when Corona was just coming out. I feel like I couldn't watch the full trial because it was like PTSD for me, but I was very, very happy with the outcome. And unfortunately, on the same day, a 16-year-old girl was stabbed. She called the police for help, and her life ended right there. So it's like we take one step forward and we take one back. And it's just also been crazy with like the gun shootings that are happening. Something happened in my favorite market, Stop and Shop in Hempstead. And then I heard that someone threw acid on someone. It's like, yo, what the F is going on? If this is the case, put us back on lockdown, because obviously we can't handle it. Like, this is just so scary for the summer when people could be out even more, So take care of each other, like I always say, and love on each other. But we really need to do something about gun laws and checking people's mental health. It's so important, and unfortunately, it's very overrated. And I think that needs to be, like, we all need to get like a evaluation check annually. Like, how you have to go to the doctors annually? I think that should be a check. Like, are you okay? Now, this person shows signs of a little, warn their job, their family, just like put a sticker on them like, this, I may be crazy. I'm just saying something like that. So let's discuss today's show. We are going to have a little friendly guest. His name is Nicholas Wange, also known as Nick Wange, also known as like Supreme Vegan, which is kind of crazy to me because he is Haitian. And not that if you're Haitian or Caribbean or anything, you can't be vegan or vegetarian. It's just like, you know, some people are born that way, but he just kind of converted. So I'm very interested in like, what did he try that made him say, this is better than griot? Because we're Haitian and that's why we eat pork. So you know what I'm saying? But also, not only did him changing his eating lifestyle, I think it's created a big platform for him where he started an app and he has like a blog, a web series. So, you know, it goes back to what I always say, let your hobbies become your passion, and that can lead you to endless opportunities that you don't know about. So I figured this would be really cool for people who are thinking about maybe becoming vegan or who are looking for vegan food. Instead of using help, you know, you could download something and just tells you all the local places you can go. And I want to make sure I support my Black men and Black women and anyone else who is trying to, you know, do good in their life. We need to show throw the flowers out, support them, and all that good stuff. And then for Sports Talk, we're gonna have a friend of the Sports Hit List show. His name is Falco, and I'm a little nervous to speak with him, but we'll see how that goes. You know, maybe I just want him on the show because he looks good, ladies. But we'll see. We'll see if we bump heads. Hopefully we won't. So let's get this show on the roll as we welcome our first guest. Like I said, his name is Nick Wansh, and we have so much to discuss. And let me just bring him on in. Are we ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Can we also talk about me with my hair back? I look very sophisticated. Like a whole sophisticated woman. Hello there.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. Welcome to the B Show.
What's going on? I'm happy to be here. You know, I've been seeing it online and everything like that, you know, so I'm definitely tuned in.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem.
First rule of the B Show is I appreciate anyone that comes on my show, but anyone who comes with the green screen, I have to tear them apart because I effing hate it. Also, you are wearing all black. Therefore, all we have is a floating head with your AirPods. But
really,
I'll let it slide because you're here and you're prepared and you are promoting yourself, and that's all that we ask. But, you know.
Sorry. Next time I'll make sure, you know, the background and everything is all situated, so no floating screens.
I'll put you on the list of, I don't know if he'll be back because he got a green. But I will say, surprisingly, all the people that end up having green screen are like really intelligent people that actually do want them back. So I'll give you.
You feel me? Listen, it's all about branding. The black T-shirt had the brand on it. The green screen had the brand on it. So you don't have to represent.
I appreciate that. So for people who do not know, please let us know who you are and what you do.
So my name is Nick. I am heavy in the vegan space, in the vegan world. I'm working on a multitude of things that all correlate, you know, within veganism. I am building a mobile app, but more than a mobile app, we are building a company, a software company that basically embodies and wants to show and inform everyone about veganism, how they can access different kinds of foods, different kinds of restaurants. Then on the other end, you know, I consider myself a YouTube vlogger. I go to different vegan restaurants. So wherever I travel and I see new food, I always highlight the restaurants. You know, if I can get, you know, behind the scenes access and speak with the chefs and the owners, you know, I do all of this because a lot of us, you know, really don't have the information that we need to properly, you know, live our lives, or we've been kind of, you know, wired to eat one way, and when we see another diet, you know, we're always like, what's that? We have the stink face on. So within our community, especially, I feel as if that, you know, being vegan and going vegan has been so much of a blessing to me that I'm like, why not share this with the entire world?
Right. Wow. Okay, let's get into it then. So you were saying, you know, people do the stank face kind of when you mentioned that maybe you're vegan or vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between a vegan, vegetarian, and a plant-based diet?
So, that's a really good question. Now, vegans and plant-based, there are a lot of myths. Certain people consider, some plant-based people do not like to consider themselves vegan, right? Because there are certain things that someone who is vegan would eat that someone who is plant-based wouldn't eat. For example, Oreo cookies, right? Oreo cookies doesn't contain, well, the black Oreo cookies doesn't contain any dairy in it, right? So vegans would eat that, but someone who is plant-based would not indulge in that at all because they're not into that. They're not into the junk food. They're into the vegetables, eating 100% conscious, So for me, I am on both sides. Yes, right? So I'm on both sides. And someone who is vegetarian, for example, a vegetarian may eat eggs. A vegetarian would go to the pizza parlor and, have a slice of, cheese pizza. That I don't do. I don't eat any eggs, any dairy. No, my milk is almond milk and everything like that. But that's a very good question because a lot of people don't know the difference.
I don't know the last time I drank any other milk. I mean, I drink half and half, maybe like twice a week for my coffee, but I don't drink any other.
Let's keep it all the way real. In my personal opinion, I feel as if most people of color are lactose intolerant.
Yes, I am one of those people. And I like
so every time, you feel me? Every time we eat, we feel as if, we're taking a risk. So, this is just showing something else.
Okay. What made you become a vegan? Because like I said earlier, and when I talked to you about it, I'm like, we're Haitian. Like you grew up with a bottle and some pork. Like, so what did you decide, I want to change?
So for me, I was eating out one day and my body just felt off. And I noticed that every time I would eat certain foods, my body would just feel off. So one day I was out and I believe I was I was in Koreatown. I was having some red meat. And I literally, while I was eating the red meat, I told myself, this is probably going to be the last time I eat red meat for the next 6 months. And 6 months ahead of that time was the summertime. Summertime came so easily. And I was like, oh, let's try and do this till the end of the year. Once I realized how simple and easy it was for me to really just kind of stay disciplined, with that diet and not eat red meat, I was like, let's try something else. And then I continued trying, cutting out different foods like chicken, cheese, then the fish. And I was just like, this was definitely meant for me, and this is the way that I want to continue living out the rest of my life. And once again, like I said, I feel the best that I've ever felt because of this diet.
Crazy. All right. Like, what do you do for ice?
Oh, that's easy. So I think that, there's a misconception of, when you go to the supermarket, there are a lot of non-dairy, ice cream brands out there. Especially we live in New York City.
Like gelato.
Of course it. So that's the interesting part. We've been eating, these foods for what, 20 plus years. So our mouths, our taste buds are programmed to enjoy that, right? So when we try something else, we think because, it doesn't taste like that it's terrible. It's not the same. You feel me? It's not like Haagen-Dazs, but there are definitely a bunch of, non-dairy ice cream brands like So Delicious and everything like that I personally enjoy.
Frozen yogurt? Oh, no.
Yes. No, but there are frozen yogurt brands that don't contain dairy. Okay. So you can, like So Delicious is one of them. Silk is another one,
Do you ever miss eating meat?
No, I never miss eating meat.
But and so though? It wasn't like right away.
So yeah, it did take me a little bit of time. So last year, one of my really close friends, he had his birthday dinner at a steakhouse. So you can pretty much, you feel me? You can pretty much imagine there wasn't much for me at a steakhouse besides like rice and vegetables. And they, they were bringing up.
Oh no, seafood is still considered like the seafood.
Yeah, that would be pescatarian.
Vegetarian.
Pescatarian.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Right. So, they're chopping up the steaks right in front of me, the lamb and all this stuff. And I was just, I wouldn't say I was disgusted, but like it is what it is. I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I gotta have some. Nah, I'm good.
So what did you
Yeah.
eat?
Just that day I had just rice, beans, and vegetables.
Oh.
So if I do know, I will say this, being vegan and catering to that diet, you do
that's
have
gonna
to
be one of my
prepare
questions.
yourself.
What do you eat when you go out to restaurants? I mean, like now you probably look for,
Yeah.
vegetarian or vegan friendly, which a lot of places are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
So
I try
for
to
me, in that case, and it's tough because gluten-free isn't really the most delicious, or appetizing, like gluten-free pasta and everything.
It tastes like sand.
Yeah, it does.
When you, like you said, when you get used to it, it's not that bad.
It's not as bad as the first time,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, that night that I was going to my homie's birthday dinner, I prepared. So before I went there, I ate. I made sure I made something, at the house, something that will fill me up. So when I am out, I really don't have to worry too much because at the end of the day, I'm pretty much full. But another reason that I do want to tell you why I am doing this, because, especially like I said, I keep going back to our community. Our community, we are misinformed and have a lack of information when it comes to this. So, part of me doing the videos and part of me creating a mobile app is also to show people like, hey, we look exactly the same. We dress exactly the same. We talk exactly the same. You feel me? So it's just like, don't think that this is for privileged people because, there are a lot of things that you probably eat in your everyday meals, with the exception of obviously meat, that technically are vegan. So rice and beans and potatoes and vegetables, if you have that and you just take away the chicken and the steak that you're putting on the side, you are going to, you are basically eating a vegan diet. And another thing too, like you never hear people saying that they're protein deficient. So we don't necessarily need the steak and the fish and everything like that, because when you eat
chickpeas, I love chickpeas.
Yeah, I love chickpeas. I do so many different things with chickpeas. I substitute that as my tuna, right? For example, I'll mash it up, I'll put the onions, I'll put the mayo, the seasoning, and to me, that's just as good as a tuna sandwich. And
cauliflower has taken over.
You feel me? Cauliflower, the cauliflower wings.
Yeah. So like you were saying, you go to a lot of restaurants. Fun. How do they even, like, that's so cool to me. That's probably like a dream of mine, to be a food critic, or like to be able to, like I watch Food Network, and what's that guy, Guy Fieri, where he gets
Guy Fieri.
Yeah. So how did you get into doing that, and how do they allow you?
So I'm trying to be the Black Guy Fieri. You feel me? So what we do basically, I have a team. It's my girlfriend and I. She does a lot of the recording and editing and everything. And we contact the restaurants beforehand. Or if we don't do that, we'll actually just go on the spot and we'll eat the food. And, I'll just do my take right there. But in order for us to get the behind the scenes, usually we'll go to the restaurant, we'll speak to a manager ahead of time, and we'll schedule that. And we go from there. But it definitely is really, really cool to get the opportunity to do that and really see, the vision.
And now you doing that, did that help you with the your web series? And also, did that help you say, like, I think we need an app because it's hard to find. If it's hard for me to find, imagine other people just began becoming on this journey.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that.
Have you met me? Like, all my questions are fast.
They are, just like you.
Thanks. It's not a paid
So I've been doing this is not. So I've been doing the vlogging for the last 12 months. I've actually been working on this mobile app for the last 4 years. So the reason why I decided to do the vlogging was to assist with the mobile app, because now it gives me a connection to the business owners and to the restaurants.
Wow. So you said you've been working on this app for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
How hard has it been?
It's been hard and it's been expensive, but it's not just me anymore. For the first 2 years, it was just me. I was able to bring on a partner who I went to Penn State with. So right now I'm the CEO. No, Penn State.
Oh, Penn State. Never mind. Oh. Was
So
that your
he's the chief.
competition? Like schools? Did you guys ever?
No, so UPenn was Ivy League and Penn State was the party school.
Oh,
It only
okay.
makes sense. It only
Then
makes
never
sense,
mind.
right?
Yeah, Penn State is what I always hear. It's the party school, right?
Yeah. So and it was me and my partner for another year, and we just brought someone on. So it's me, Sean, and Sam, and we are going to take over. We plan on crushing it. We're bringing so many new ideas. The first version of the app I had on, the App Store for about 6 months. I was collecting data. I was doing all that fun stuff. Then basically I scratched it. I was working with a developer in India. Then I now have developers out in DC, Black developers. They're awesome. They're amazing and they're
Nice.
geniuses. And honestly, my team, just aside from me, my team is really what brings the best out of me. My partner Sam is incredible. Our new partner Sean is incredible, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. So definitely look out for the first version coming some point, really, really soon.
I got the name for your group, SNS. We them boys.
You said what's up?
SNS. That's the name of your group.
Oh.
Your both names starts with S and then your N, so SNS. Tell them if you
Yeah,
copyright it, try to
yeah.
get my money. That's all I'm asking. What
That's
will
a
make
fact. I
your
got you.
app different than others? Like we have Grubhub, Yelp,
Mhm.
DoorDash. Like, I guess
Yeah.
yours will kind of tell people where to get food from.
Mhm. So anytime that anybody ever asks me this question, I always ask people another question. I say, well, what's the difference between Chase, Bank of America, TD Ameritrade, right? They all do the same thing. They process money, right? So at the end of the day, the difference maker with vLocator and all of these other brands is the team, right? Because we actually want to do good. We actually want to help the communities out. We actually want to help everyday people out who are misinformed, who may be curious about vegan food and just don't know really how to begin. So that's what we're here for. Our team is incredible, and not only that, but we want to actually put it out there that what we're doing is not for us. What we're doing is to save the world. Today's Earth Day, right? So,
Right.
A vegan diet helps, basically all the carbon emission, all the toxic stuff. A vegan diet definitely helps reduce all of these things to make our planet longer lasting, so that there's longevity behind it.
So if you know that show on ABC, Shark Tank.
Oh, of course. That's one of my dreams.
Oh, well, here you go. This is your practice. I'm going to send this to them so they can see. If they wanted to buy your app, give us in like 3 words, like adjectives or verbs, adjectives about your app.
Revolutionary, game changing, and life changing.
Okay.
Yeah. I say revolutionary. I can tell you why. So I say revolutionary because what we're doing is we are trying to not only set the trends, right, and show people that this is actually cool, you can have fun, right, but we want to be the front runners of this. We want to actually give business a makeover, put some brown and black faces, on different businesses. And, in the tech space that we're in tech companies, you don't really see a lot of that behind, these companies. So we want to do that. Life-changing, because this is really, this diet is definitely life-changing. And this is definitely game-changing because, we're going to introduce in the value in our mission and our values, wanting to work with the everyday business while helping the everyday person. That right there is something that, a lot of companies say that they want to do, but don't actually care to do once they're in the, once they get their foot in the door.
I agree. What problem do you feel your app will solve for the vegan community?
Getting rid of a lot of stereotypes and also showing people that, yes, there are food deserts. We are aware of this, but you can go to a grocery store and get these products so that you can have a vegan meal, right? So, yeah, I would sum it up to that.
Okay, and will your app be for Android and iPhone users?
iOS. Yes, yes. When we release, we plan on releasing both on the Apple Store and on the Google Play Android Store.
That's cool. Also, you said about how you get to go to these restaurants and you try their food and blah, blah, blah. Do they ever ask you to like leave a little comment, or does this help you get your foot into the door with other restaurants? Like, I'm just trying to find out what perk do you have for me?
You know, we can definitely eat really good. We can enjoy, a spot. Yes, it definitely opens the door for other restaurants, because when other restaurants see that other restaurants are utilizing you and are posting you, they're like, wait a second, maybe, he's onto something. They don't ask me to leave any comments. They don't ask me, everything is very authentic and genuine. That's how I like to build relationships. Yeah, so the video pretty much speaks for itself. And if the food isn't good, which we've been really selective on how we're picking these restaurants and even where we're picking these restaurants. But even more than that, we've gotten really lucky because a lot of these restaurants have actually been pretty good. Have we run into restaurants where the food is, of course, you feel me? Yeah. It's shitty, but we don't really speak on those too much. We push the ones that we really like.
So I follow both of your accounts, the one that you're the host of your show and all the food. And I'm not gonna lie, I like how you detail, like you try everything and you let people know how this tastes or this tastes. And you're a person that used to eat meat, and I saw that you tried like an imitation chicken taco. And I was very offended because tacos is my favorite thing in the world. And I not believe imitation taco tastes good, like imitation chicken.
So here's the thing, a lot of times people use the word, and that's kind of what I mean by, we want to weed out the stigma and the stereotypes, because the first thing you say is imitation chicken, right? So, I think that we shouldn't, because it puts limitations on it when we say imitation chicken, right? So for example, I can get oyster mushroom and I can basically shred it. The reason why we use those terms is so that the non-vegans, have more of an incentive to try something new, right? Because we can simply say a mushroom taco, but then when you hear mushroom taco, you're like, I ain't really feeling that.
No, I love mushrooms. So I love
you do? Okay.
Like the mushroom burger from Shake Shack.
I don't like that. You know why? Because that's not vegan. The reason why it's not vegan is because there's cheese on the inside.
Right. So you would have to, you're saying no cheese. Or are you saying the mushroom?
No, but so inside of the mushroom, like however they do it, I believe they fry it. They have cheese coming out of it. So that is that's the issue with a lot of, these restaurants, they try and make it seem like, oh, it's vegan friendly, but it's not really, because, they have cheese. For example, if I go to a place and, I want a burger and they give me a Beyond Meat burger or an Impossible burger, but they have American cheese or they're putting regular mayo on it, that defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And, for someone who just wants to start out in the vegan world, what is maybe a dish that you would recommend for them to start off with?
You know what? That's a good question. Let's keep it simple. Let's introduce them to the burger world. Maybe, an Impossible burger or a Beyond Meat burger. The reason why I say that is because it's very popular. But if you're at home, you can do several different things. If somebody likes tacos, they can do a mushroom taco. They can follow a recipe for that, or they can do a jackfruit taco. And jackfruit is very incredible. I know you're Haitian, you feel me? So here's the thing with jackfruit. You can actually, if you season it and saute it the right way, it can basically be like legume. Because legume is a Haitian dish, right? So if you feel me? You feel me? So if you take out the meat or any other animal, protein that you're using in your legume, it's vegan.
Yeah.
And legume is incredible. You mix it with your rice, it's popping. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say maybe mushroom, jackfruit. And if you do want to go on the popular side, I would definitely, if you're out and if you're at a diner or a burger spot and they have Beyond Meat or if they have Impossible burgers, give that a try.
All right. I won't. But if you would like to give it a try, why not? You know?
You know what? Hold on. Because you said you won't. I love this because it's people like you that now I'm going to have to take out and I'm going to have to introduce you to some of this vegan food. You feel me? We'll do it like that. I'm on your show. One day you got to come on my show.
Oh, I would love to. I would love that. So I always ask my guests a random question. And for you, It would be, if you could sit down with any celebrity for them to try a vegan food on your show, who would it be?
If I could choose one celebrity who could be on my show, who would it be? I'm going to say something, I'm pretty sure people have said this before, but I'm going to go with somebody popular. Actually, no, I'm going to change it up a bit. I was going to say Jay-Z, but you know what? I'm from Queens, so I'm going to say Nas instead, because Nas has a VC company, and it's a dream of mine if, Nas's company, did some sort of business with my company. So I'm going to say Nas.
You never know. Put it out there. Manifest your dreams, bro.
You feel me?
Yes.
Yes.
It was so good to have you on my show. If anyone wanted to know, this is my cousin. That's why, he looks good. Runs in the family, you know what I'm saying? But I am so proud of you. You, just talking to you and then going through all your social media and everything that you're doing is big things are going. And if you
thank you.
ever need me to come and bless your show, please.
Yes.
And call your people.
Please do. And for those who are watching this, if you have a moment, please subscribe to our mailing list for VLocator. That is the name of the app and the company. It is www.
Just in case.
www.vlocator.io. Once again, www.vlocator.io. Sign up for the mailing list. We have some amazing things happening. Also, if you do want to follow the vegan page, it is at Eating Vegan with Nick. Wit has no H. So Eating Vegan, WITNICK. So thank you. I appreciate
your page yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you as always.
No problem. Always good seeing you, love.
Yes, likewise.
Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
That's my closing. That was very entertaining and informative. Listen, I've been told numerous times that I have to stop eating steak, but I'm in love. I know every ribeye, porterhouse, on the bone, not on the bone. I don't know if I could do that vegan route. I do try for carbs. So I guess I eat plant-based carbs because I don't really eat carbs. So cauliflower rice, or I have palma pasta, zoodle, squash. But for the meat, be a chicken. I already can't have fried chicken. So now you want to take the chicken away from me? This is something that I would have to sit down and discuss. Is it worth it? No gelato? I'm going crazy right now because me and Carl love Sonic. Let me just tell you. And I have a funny story that I wanted to share. So when the Impossible Burger came out, Carl and I went to Burger King. I'm not a Burger King fan, but it was just on the way. And we were starving. And he's like, yo, let's just go to Burger King. I'm like, all right, whatever. And he likes to try new things at fast foods. Not when we go out of the country, but fast foods. And he was like, yo, they have a new burger and I want to try it. It's called the Impossible Burger. And I was like, really? You want to try the Impossible Burger? He's like, yeah, because they said it's impossible. So I want to know what's so impossible about it that, I'm going to devour it. And I was just like, please do. Please do. So when we get there, the lady's like, what's your order? And he's like, oh, I'm an Impossible Burger. And she's like, all right, sir, no problem. And just so that you're aware, Impossible Burger is a vegan burger. It's not red meat. It's not like a cheeseburger. What? Come again? And I was dying because that man don't like veggies. So he was like, no. Oh my God, I'm choking because God don't like ugly, see? But yeah, I was like, damn, why the hell she said anything to him? One of my funny stories about my funny guy. So let's move on in. It looks like Falco's ready to join. I didn't even know his name was Dennis. All right. So let's bring him in while we talk our sports talk. Are you guys ready? I heard he's a fan favorite. All right. Let's get Falco on the scene. Hello, sir. Peekaboo.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, sir. All right, get your angle together. Whoa, you showing a little cleavage there.
Oops.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
We got to show up the chains. Come on now.
Okay, before I go any further, are you Italian?
I'm Italian, yes.
Okay, well, no wonder. That's why we have to show. It's like a right, right?
Yeah, you got to show the chains. Come on.
And that's so funny. Well, I also just learned something about you. Your name is Dennis?
No, that's my dad. That's by the Zoom. No, I'm Brandon.
I was like pretty sure
that's just the computer I'm logged onto.
All right, Brendan, it's not that Italiano, but we'll take it. It should have been like a Tommy, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
They wanted to confuse you. Well, thank you so much for being on my little sports talk segment here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. If you don't know, I know nothing and everything about sports. So I'll just give you a little topics. We'll discuss what I know, and you can fully educate me and everyone else who's watching more.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. First things first. I heard a little rumor about you. I heard you get a little feisty, Poppy.
It happens.
And I like the feisty, but one thing for sure on my show is if you want to argue, I could do it all day. So let's
Sounds good.
I may not be right, but I'm loud, so people end up listening to what I have to say.
Love it. Sounds like Carl almost.
No, Carl's usually wrong, but
louder. We call him loud and wrong.
Okay, I'll take it. Maybe it's okay. Okay, first things first. The NFL will announce its 2021. Well, I was taught you're not supposed to say that. 2021 schedule, and it will be the first time since the pandemic. I think it feels like we're going back to normal. I don't know if all the players will play because out of all the teams, I said this last week, NFL is kind of the only team that kind of took a stand, was like, if we're not comfortable, we're not playing. We'll sit this out. We'll play our fee. And for me, I'm just more excited because Super Bowl, that's the only thing I ever care about. It's too much to watch all the teams. I just wait for the last two. And I cheer for the team that has the better looking men. And then I care for the Super Bowl. But do you care about football? Are
Absolutely.
you excited?
People who know I am, unfortunately, a diehard Jets fan since I was 6 years old, ever since then.
Oh,
so,
look, I'm wearing Jets colors.
Nah, the Jets are like a true green. What is that, an army green or turquoise?
I don't know. I just wore it for Earth Day.
Ah, I gotcha. But I am a diehard Jets fan since 2006, going till now, and things are looking like they can be moving in the right direction, especially with the draft moving up. Looks like the Jets will be acquiring Zach Wilson, even though on the downfall, they will be the only team in NFL history after they draft Zach Wilson to draft a quarterback with a top 3 pick in a span of 4 years, which is pretty pathetic. And they also do not have a guy on their roster that was a first-round pick from 2018 to whenever. And then the most recent first-round pick on the roster is Quinnen Williams, which is completely embarrassing because honestly, I don't think he's going to be around much longer. He hasn't he hasn't really produced the way we thought he was going to coming out of Alabama. Again, a number 3 pick. I honestly expect him to be traded sooner than later, which is just another downfall. But in 2021, Zach Wilson's our guy. I mean, hopefully this can be the guy who's actually the Jets quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years.
Well, like I said, I don't know much about sports, definitely not football, but I do know the Jets have not made it in a while. So I hope they do for your sake, but bro, I don't.
2010 was the last time we seen the playoffs.
Exactly. I don't see. New York we suck in everything. The only thing that we have going for us is the Nets, but you know.
Oh, the Knicks. Don't slander the Knicks right now. Number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference right now.
For how long?
Julius, as of right now, Julius Randle is going to win Most Improved Player. But for the Knicks fans, I mean, this is like this is glory to them. The fact that the fact that the Knicks are even playing competitive games, let alone being in the playoffs, let alone being a top 4 seed. I mean, the only teams ahead of the Knicks in the Eastern Conference is the Brooklyn Nets, who's the best team in basketball, the 76ers, who have arguably the front runner to win MVP, and then you have drawing a blank, the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks, who have the back-to-back MVP on their roster. So I mean, if the Knicks are in that tier of teams, they're above the Miami Heat, who were in the finals last year.
Calm down.
I'm saying facts. They're above the Boston.
Okay, but you didn't have to throw Miami Heat. You could throw everybody else.
I did because they got out of the Eastern Conference last year. So I have to mention that the Knicks are playing better than them right now.
Things may change. Miami Heat is my team. I don't know if you are aware.
I did. I remember the promos of during the playoffs last year. I do remember the promos, but
I've been a Miami Heat fan since. Pick another team. On my show, we always go in on the Celtics. We don't talk about it.
I love it. Well, I did mention the Celtics. The Knicks are ahead of the Celtics from the first. I mean, the Knicks have a better record than the Boston Celtics from the first time since the bubonic plague pandemic, from what I can remember. So,
thank you. That's better.
You got it.
Yes, but like I was saying, the Jets haven't made it. The Giants haven't made it. So hopefully, fingers crossed for you. But I don't know. If you could pick a team that will make it to the Super Bowl, who do you think?
I mean, you have to run it back with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's the most obvious pick right now. They are the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now as we stand today. And I think that's very respectful. A lot of people are a little annoyed that the Buccaneers aren't, because they're returning all 22 starters, which is the first time in NFL history. I totally understand that. But I referred Pat Mahomes as he's in a class of athletes. There's 2 other athletes currently in professional sports right now who have that eye of the tiger, who walk around with that swagger, who have that it factor about them where I love this saying, it's don't poke the bear because the bear could always bite back. I think LeBron James has that. I think Tom Brady has that. And I do think Pat Mahomes has it.
All those people you listed are like MVPs and GOATs
among the greatest in the history of their respective sport and their respective position. Pat Mahomes is in that class of talent. He's just not as older than them. He hasn't been doing it for as long, so he's not going to get that recognition. But in terms of the Super Bowl, I think Pat Mahomes got a lot of extra slander that he didn't deserve. I mean, he ran behind the line of scrimmage for 497 yards. And behind the line of scrimmage, he was running for his life on a bad toe where the team was missing 2 of their offensive.
And it wasn't him. It was totally his team. They were, I don't know where they were. Like, they didn't realize this was a Super Bowl. And he was carrying the team. Yeah.
Right. Of course. And then he's always getting compared to Brady as eventually he could be the greatest of all time. And people think that he's eliminated from the GOAT conversation because of the Super Bowl. And I think that's ridiculous, especially what he was dealing with. I think he's heard the noise. He's got that foot surgery. And I think he's going to come back this year like that bad man he is. And I think he's going to walk around with a chip on his shoulder and be like, this is my league. I run this show. Brady's not that guy. I'm that guy. I expect Mahomes to have an MVP caliber year. I expect him to win MVP. I expect the Chiefs to be right back in the Super Bowl going for that Lombardi trophy, who I'm going to pick to win right now. I don't think there's any reason to doubt them right now.
But fingers crossed the Jets can prove you a little something.
The Jets will not be relevant. Call a spade a spade.
Okay. You hope, but you know.
Yeah, I know. I hope, but I know. I'm not delusional, to say the least. I think I am.
I didn't think so, but also moving on along in NFL world, there was a football player named Aldon Smith who was arrested. And before we even talk about him, I just feel like another thing about the NFL, we hear mostly about them when it comes to like being arrested or with charges or anything for domestic abuse or assault. Why is that?
I mean, if we're going to call a few reasons, I don't like to put anything out there or say anything if I don't know all the facts and details, which in this situation, I don't necessarily know exactly what happened. I wasn't there. I'm not a primary source in terms of a witness in that situation.
Well, he was arrested. I'll let you know, and everyone else who doesn't. He was arrested on Tuesday night for alleged battery in New Orleans area.
Anyone who is a part of domestic violence deserves the charges they get 100%. But I feel like it's coming about this time, which Deshaun Watson is kind of dealing with that too. We don't know how true that is. Where I feel like women are almost trying to take advantage of men to pull that domestic violence card because money. Not saying it always is, but that is something that can actually happen. I feel like women are trying to take advantage of that situation because of the clout they could get or the money they could get. They could be right. They could have a point in this. I'm not trying to deny that. I'm just saying it's not necessarily guaranteed that if they pull a race card. I mean, excuse me.
This one, I do not believe it was a woman. It was a man. And
okay. I'm not aware of that.
In front of church with your cross on, in front of a church, he choked someone till they were unconscious.
Oh, no, I mean, that's just someone not being responsible for your own actions. I mean, accountability is a big thing in today's society. People need to take response of their own actions. I mean, when you are a professional athlete, you have a lot of pressure on you. You have a lot of people watching. You have people watching at all times, especially depending how big your name is. Mm-hmm. And I think just as a man and who you are, you need to take responsibility and know that there's people watching. You know that you have a lot of consequences. You are set for the rest of your life in terms of being successful with money. You sign that contract, you're basically set for your life. All you have to do is carry yourself as a man and with class, which it takes no money to do that. All it takes is being a good person to put yourself in good situations, which it's unfortunate that we've seen athletes time and time again put themselves in bad situations to get themselves in trouble. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's personal responsibility, and at the end of the day, we need to help hold each other accountable and hold yourself
accountable. Why do you think we hear more about this in NFL than any other sport?
I mean, just by popularity, there's literally just more players. There's more NFL players on a roster than any other sport. I mean, baseball gets to the 40-man roster. I mean, basketball, there's 13 people on a roster. And then football is a 53-man roster. So if you do the numbers, there's simply just more players on a roster. So if you want to look at it like that, I don't have the stats or statistics why exactly that is.
How dare you?
I mean,
the statistics for the Jets.
I mean, that's my team. That's a different story. But in terms of that, I mean, if you want to just play the numbers game, I mean, 53. If there's 53 guys on one team versus 13 on another, I mean, there's more likely something bad's going to happen versus a group of 53 guys.
I also think it's a God complex. I think when you look at a football player, like they're just bulky and a little bit more intimidating than a basketball player. And women may look at a football player more than a basketball player,
because of the size. People like a bigger guy, someone with a bigger frame. And when you are that big, your ego, your confidence.
Exactly. So it becomes it's like a seesaw, because it's like I could get any girl I want, but then when the girl tells you no, that's when the God complex comes in. And then for a girl, she's gonna maybe go after him because she's like, oh, he looks good or this or that.
And money, it's between the looks, the size, and the money. I mean, and the clout. You have everything you're looking for right there. Yeah. So that's why people are going to look at that. And people go to the gym. Myself, I lift the way I do because it helps my mental health. It helps my physical health. And it helps my confidence. I'm not going to lie. Since I put on 25 pounds of muscle, my confidence has skyrocketed.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm going to treat anyone different. But when I walk into places, I walk around with more confidence, and I walk around with my presence is felt. I never laid my hands on a man or woman, and I never will. That's not my character. But in terms of my pure confidence, of course it raised my confidence 100%. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I'm not going to say that the gym doesn't help my confidence. Which football players live in the gym? A basketball player, you're not going to really bulk up as much as a football player, because basketball, you need to be flexible up top to finish, to shoot, have that range.
Like all muscle, because then you can't even catch the ball.
You're not gonna have the flexibility to defend. You're not gonna be as quick weighing that much. This and that. When football players need to put on muscle, especially when you're a lineman or even a running back or receiver or a linebacker, especially. No matter what position it is, you're probably looking to put on muscle because you're gonna be taking those big hits. So that's another reason football players are going to have that physical build. That basketball players are more the tall and lanky. Football players are more, they're jacked. And baseball players, especially, I've been a baseball guy my whole life. I mean, I never put on a lot of muscle because I couldn't. I was a pitcher, so I had to be more flexible up top. I had to be more of the tall and lanky look. And then when I stopped playing is when I was able to bulk up, which is something I've always wanted to do. But when I was playing it, I had to make sure that my shoulders were strong, but I never had a bigger chest. I never had that big of a chest. I never had that big of arms. I would work on my legs, but I would never have that body where I feel just super confident, walk around, look at the size of me. Yeah, I was tall, but I wasn't as broad and I wasn't as built as I am now. So it's football players are going to have more confidence walking into a club or approaching a girl or even approaching other guys. Even when you're with other guys, you still want to be confident the way you look. People are still looking at the way you look. And that's another thing that football players are going to have being that size.
So basically, you're telling us you went from Screech to AC Slater.
I mean, it's not that excessive, but I see where you're coming from. It's not that excessive, but.
Got it. One thing that I do know about you, and I hear about it all the time, is that you are a big LeBron James fan. Is that what I see?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I used to be a fan until he left Miami, so.
Makes sense.
That was the worst thing ever. His team was amazing, and I was just like, yes, you're playing with my man, Wade, and then he just disappeared. But one thing about LeBron James is he is a fan favorite for a lot of people. He speaks about politics. He speaks about Black Lives Matter. He speaks about underage kids. He speaks about candy. He speaks about everything. And as we all know, as soon as George Floyd's trial ended, he tweeted and how he felt. And then we heard about a killing the same day. And then he tweeted, "You're next." And next thing I know, it was like not even on like sports. It was on the social media that I follow, like Celebrity News, on ABC News, CNN. It was like everywhere that he tweeted this and then deleted it. And people were very upset that he even had anything to say.
Right.
How do you feel?
Well, was very disappointed to hear him say that. It's, you know what? I've had many conversations about the LeBron Jordan debates, the Kobe LeBron debates. And this is another example why people like Kobe and MJ so much and respect him so much more than LeBron. Kobe and MJ were just so determined to play basketball, and that's it. Sure, they did their other things on the side. Of course, every athletes are human. They're going to have their other things on the sides that they do. They're going to speak out about other things, not politics, but they're just going to speak out, voice their opinions on this and that. And then LeBron is just like, he wants to take it to a whole nother level. What he did with that I Promise school, love that. So good. Going back to Cleveland, Ohio, not only delivering the championship, but the I Promise school, giving kids in their school a free education, the aftercare, the whole bit. And he's the voice in that. And that's the biggest athlete, the star of an athlete we have in today's generation. Love that. But the politics, it's like, come on, man. He's just over and over. He abuses it. He abuses it. And then yesterday, what happened yesterday in the news when a cop was about to be a black on black crime with a girl with a knife ready to kill someone. And a cop did his job, and he didn't have the facts. He didn't know what he was talking about. And then he tweets about it, and he deleted it when he had 39,000 likes, which that's a little too late. It's just like it's like one of those, like, come on, man. It's one of those that on Monday Night Football, they have the ESPN's come on, man. That's another one. Like, come on, man, you're better than that. Like, don't go and put out these things unless you know all the facts and you know what you're talking about. It's just like he's too much with the politics. Like, it's not that he shouldn't have a voice or he shouldn't have an opinion, but especially something like that, it's like, come on, man. Like that, I was very disappointed to see him do that because it's just time and time again. He keeps like speaking out on it. And sometimes he doesn't I don't believe he always knows what he's talking about. And then that was just another like example where people are really beating him down for it. And I totally understand why.
Okay, my turn. So first thing you said was black on black crime. I would like you to know I'm speaking to an African American woman. Absolutely. We do not call it black on black crime. We call it just period crime. Because if a white person, Spanish person, Mexican descent, or Asian was attacking another Asian, you wouldn't hear on the news Asian on Asian crime. You would just hear crime. Right. So that stigma that people say black and black crime, we really need to stop. Second of all, I feel like everyone has a voice. Everyone can speak how they want. Unfortunately, like we said earlier, I'm like bubbling in here. Unfortunately, like we said earlier, some people say things or have the opportunity, like, NFL players, but they have to kind of watch what they do, where they say, because they're such on a big platform. And I think LeBron maybe took this platform as to say to the cop that shot the young girl, "You're next." And I know you said she had a knife, so he was trying to diffuse the situation, or he was worried that she was going to stab the other person. But do you know that she literally called the cops because these group of girls were outside who were like trying to jump her? She called for help, and I guess they took too long or so. And she was like going to stab one of them. I'm not sure with that, or the tape didn't look like she had the knife, but that's what we were told. And he shot her. I think LeBron as a father was just like, are you kidding me? Not only are we killing Black people, but now we're killing children, you know, a young girl. So I think that's where he put that tweet out, and he probably did it without thinking or reacting. And I believe also that, you know, he was told before to shut up and dribble and dribble, and he's probably like, I'm not doing that anymore. And the day that George Floyd, the cop who shot him, was found guilty, that was a big thing for us Black community. And I don't want to sit here and make it seem like this is a conversation that we can't agree on, because I think that's something that we have learned in 2020 with everything that did happen with the cops killing several Black people, is that we have to come together. And if you say something and you feel your way and I feel my way, we should be able to speak and help each other. And if I, as a Black person, know more than you, not because I just know more, just because of my skin and things that I've witnessed, I would like to think that you would say, oh, well, I didn't know that. Thank you very much.
Of course.
And I would listen to what you would say, and I would say, okay, that's how you feel, but let me tell you, as a Black person, what is maybe, I don't know what LeBron felt at that time, you don't either, but why maybe he must have did it. And I think he deleted it because maybe, like you said, he didn't know the whole story, so he was like, all right, maybe I should remove what I said, or maybe he was told by his PR, like, this is not a good move, please remove this. And I know you're a big LeBron James fan, so that's why I kind of wanted to hear from your insight. Like, why do you think he deleted it?
Right. Well, first things first, in terms of the Black on Black crime, sure, I'm wrong for saying that should be canceled out. And should any race on race, it doesn't matter. We're all Americans. It should just be a crime. I don't care if it's white on black, black on white, white on white, black on black. It's the same thing as it's another American dying, whether it's police brutality or not. So, and again, all of these cases, there's no proof it's racially motivated. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. You don't know that. I don't know that. And everyone else doesn't know except the cop in the situation. So I think it's just quick to throw the race card out all the time just because it's a white on black or necessarily a black on white. It shouldn't just jump to that. It can be. It definitely can be. I'm not saying I'm accusing it one way or another. I'm just saying nobody in our society knows except the person in that situation. He's the only one who knows what his intentions were. But LeBron probably deleted it. Again, 39,000 likes later, a little too late. He probably deleted it because there's probably a lot of people in his ear, and I think his voice is so loud. I mean, he put something up for 2 seconds. It went viral. If LeBron posts something on any social media for two seconds, literally 2 seconds, screenshot, goes viral. That's simple. His voice is that loud, and he's that big of a superstar in the sport of basketball. But he probably ended up deleting it because whether it's agent, his Rich Paul, or someone he saw a reply, who knows? Or maybe he finally found out the facts of the situation, that it wasn't just a police brutality, racially motivated situation. The cop could have been doing his job. Again, we only seen the video, and I've read a few articles on it of what I know, but from what I know, it's not necessarily racially motivated. So I think he finally deleted it because he realized that he was wrong, and then that's how he apologized to. I think he came out and said that, like, anger isn't getting us anywhere, but facts and knowledge do, something amongst those lines, which is true. He said his angers and emotions were running high, which is why he did it, because after the George Floyd trial just happened, then this happened. So that's probably why he went about this situation, even though there's other situations that still need to trials happen. This was the oldest one since 2020. So I guess that's going to be the first one that the case is going to be solved. So I guess that's why he tweeted accountability at this one cop.
And another thing that I want to piggyback for him, like I said, I don't know why, I don't know, but I think also for him saying you're next is because, and you said it as well, we need to start holding police officers accountable. Like, I'm not a cop, but I'm surrounded by many cops in my family. And it goes back to, like, why just didn't he use his taser? You know, so kind of like we want an explanation of why your automatic thing was to shoot a young girl. And I know a lot of people may say, like, if this was a white person, would they automatically shot this little girl, this young girl, because she had a knife? But, you know, it's like that saying, like, you don't bring a knife to a gun show. So if she had a knife, there was no need to be shot. Or I also believe if you're going to try to stop someone as a cop, I mean, why do we have to shoot in the chest? Like there's knees, there's ankles, there's arms.
Sure.
Those are all ways to stop somebody from something. So when you automatically go to the chest, it's like, you know, they're going to die.
Of course. And
You know?
one thing on that is whether it's they have a gun, a knife, or anything, no matter the color of anyone's skin, no matter what race you are, what gender you are, what religion you believe in, that's what I spoke about in the beginning of the show, your character and who you are. If you're not putting yourselves in those situations, you'll never have to worry about that situation. No matter what color your skin is, I got pulled over a few times, I cooperated, I was respectful to the cop. Nothing to do with my skin color. I acted like a man, I acted like a gentleman, like I do to everybody. And again, that's why I have no problems with, if you're going to resist arrest, that's a felony. We have to understand resisting arrest is a felony. Other police brutality situations, if they didn't resist arrest and they didn't commit another felony, who knows where they've been? We don't know that. So like, I think in these situations, both sides are wrong, whether it be the victim or the cop. Maybe cops are too quick to shoot and to kill, which is true. And then on the other side, people need to cooperate with cops. They need to not resist arrest. They need to not try to threaten to pull out another weapon, something like that. If that's what I'm trying to get at, is both sides need to come together to fix the issue. Going one way or another is not the situation. I'm not for the Blue Lives Matter or the Black Lives Matter because I think it's a little bit too much one way. I think they need to come together to like figure out, okay, maybe police need to be trained better to stop really being too quick to shoot and to kill. And then on the flip side, you need to learn how to cooperate with cops. Don't resist arrest, because again, that is a felony. We need to understand that, or commit other crimes in that situation that are other crimes, and having the cops feel that they are at harm. It's a two-way street. That's
what about somebody like, I don't know if you heard about the guy who was in the army and he got pulled over and he was petrified to get out the car. And he was a lieutenant in the army. He was so scared because he was Black. He was just like, I'm scared to get out. And he started crying. And they were like, stop resisting arrest. And he's like, just promise me you won't shoot me. And they were like, you're a lieutenant? Like, they were kind of like, we don't care. Well, one cop was. The rookie cop, you could tell he was just like, let's just let him go. He's you see him in his army outfit, and they told him like, you were resisting arrest. And as soon as he opened the door, they pepper sprayed him and everything, and they beat his knees. But he wasn't resisting arrest. He just said to them, I'm really scared to get out. And unfortunately, that's a fear. And I think until we know that fear, until you feel that fear, it's something that's overwhelming. I mean, even for me, I've been pulled over before, and I was just like, oh my God, please. And I have a shield. I have a sticker from my uncle. I have is that called PD, whatever card?
PBA card.
I have all those things. And I'm very like, yes, officer, what did I get pulled over for? But as soon as they're like, let me go, I got pulled over twice. I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost peed on myself. And that's the worst feeling to have. And I understand that you're saying like, do what they say. But I want you to know these are conversations that it is in the Black household. And some people do run. And I think it's because they're petrified. And some people, and I'll say it, I'll probably get crucified here as well, they may have drugs on them, or they have a felony or something, and they're just like, I gotta go before I get arrested. Or it's just like PTSD from seeing it from somewhere else on the news or something.
It's true. And again, you can look at the Breonna Taylor situation. I mean, her boyfriend was shooting through a door at cops when they had a warrant to go in the house. And again, that was a group of people who were dealing drugs. That's literally illegal. Like, I'm 21. I've never smoked weed. I've never done a drug in my life. So that situation, that's something I never have to worry about it, because I don't surround myself with people, and I don't do that. And then shooting through a door at cops when they made it clear that it's them. That's why she was in the position she was. And that's unfortunately why she was killed. Like situations like that, like, I think these situations can be avoided if both sides could understand their wrongdoing and then come together. I'm not for one side or the other. I just think both sides need to come together to ultimately solve the situation. But I don't think it's a one way is right, one way is wrong, to be completely honest.
Well, we could have this conversation all day, but our time is up. I want to thank you for coming on my show. I would love to honestly meet you and have these conversations to like, because we could probably have this for 4 hours straight.
Right.
You have your views and I have mine. I don't know if you know, but I'm like very huge on feminists and Black Lives Matter and on equality for both races. And sometimes you just need to meet someone in your life to just make you go, oh, I just never saw it that way. And I believe that maybe I could be that person or not. We could, like I said, we could go all day and do this. But one thing that I appreciate is that you said what you had to say and I said what I had to say, and nobody cursed or belittled anyone.
I'm
Yeah.
not that person. Come on.
But now are you still a LeBron James fan or?
I'm not. I'm very. I'm not. I've been since. I'm not pleased with his actions lately. I just want him to not necessarily not have a voice, not speak on his things, not give his opinion. He's too much with it. I'm not fond of the way he's acting, and I think as a professional basketball player, your focus should be on basketball. Period. Point blank. That is your job. You're getting paid $38.4 million plus your endorsement deal to play basketball. He's not a politician. At the end of the day, he's not. Sure, you could speak out, and I feel like in the NBA, it's always one way. The guys on the media, it's always one way. You never hear the other side. It's basically like the ESPN, FS1, all these stations have turned into a left-wing political news station. I'm not making up. Every single thing you see on TV is in a sports station is basically a left-wing politics station when something of this matter comes about. So I just think, and you don't see anything from the other side, which again, you're not going to see any debates on there. It's always one way. And guys who have spoke out being the other way have gotten canceled and have gotten a lot of trouble for it almost.
Well, I think because he's LeBron James and so many people look up to him and things that he has done for the community, he is a voice that a lot of people agree and look up to. So I don't think he'll ever be canceled. And like I said, our time is up, but in what you just said, I feel like a little bit you're saying he should just shut up and dribble.
I never said shut up and dribble means literally just play basketball. Again, I said at the beginning of the show, I said I'm all for what he did with the I Promise School, this and that. I just think he's too.
So you're just saying like not shut up and dribble, but just say and do things for the community and help everyone, but like keep politics out.
I'm not a believer in oversaturating politics and sports. It's been in 2020 till now, it's been oversaturated. When again, if he wants to go on CNN and do it, I would respect that more than it's after a game. It's about politics before games. It's when I turn on First Take, Undisputed, First Things First. It's just all they do is talk politics. And people want to watch sports to watch sports. They don't want to go there to watch politics because you have all the news stations to do that. That's why I'm very against it. And a lot of people can agree with me.
Some people like my husband, example, he doesn't watch the news, barely. His news is sports, like all these sports shows. So he kind of sometimes learns things from these shows and maybe they think other people are the same. And unfortunately, like I said, a lot has happened in the Black culture that it has to be spoken about. And I think that's what they're doing. Like, it can no longer be ignored. And if you don't like it, Falco, don't watch it no more.
I do. I limit it. I watch here and there. I limit it, but personally, I do think it gets to be too much. And some people and people don't like it. Some people love that, and some people don't. I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to respect each other's opinions. I just think it's very one way, which I'm not very fond of. And I don't think even if I feel like it's got to a point where other guys, Tom Brady is arguably the biggest star in football. You don't hear him ever speak about politics because if he does, he's gonna get slandered for it.
But Tom Brady also didn't go to the White House when they won the championship, so that made him okay with me. We'll talk about more stuff later.
I didn't know White House, so whatever.
Okay. What'd you say?
Well, yeah, but he would go to the. Wait, you were talking about now?
No, I think when they won while Trump was in power or whatever team he was, and when they won this, they said they weren't going to go, and I was very shocked.
Oh,
and I was just like, because like you said, he's not a very politic guy, and he said him and his whole team decided together like they would not go. And I was very like, oh.
Yeah. I don't know the details of it. I know they didn't go. I don't know the details of who said yes or no, but it is what it is. I don't make.
Thank you once again for being on my show. I truly appreciate it. And if you ever want to come back, let me know. He's like, never again.
I'm always down. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Always a good time.
No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brandon Falco and his chess. Sometimes you got to let people know you ain't the one. And then sometimes you got to let them know I am the one. I was reading the comments. I tried to ask the questions that y'all were saying, but I was thinking the same thing as well. He is hot. He's good looking. But, honey chop, you can't bring that horse to the water. You can't. You can't. I cannot. I'm not going to lose my job. Not going to lose this platform for nobody. Everyone has different opinions, and that's what I love about my show. Everyone can speak how they want to speak, and that's the great thing about being in this world. Everyone has an ass, right? Everyone poops. Don't mean it smells good. Don't mean it's right. Some people use Bounty. Some people don't. But what I do know, if you or anyone is tired of hearing about Black Lives Matter, why don't you make a difference to make sure our lives matter and that we are not being shot? Just like you tired of hearing on the news, we tired. Just like you tired of people speaking up, we tired of people not speaking up. This is some craziness. Oh, I can't wait for my Juneteenth show. I cannot wait. If you want to be on that segment, let me know. I am Deborah Voltaire Coulange. I showed y'all today what it's like to persevere. And just because of MF a look cute as hell don't mean, you know what I'm saying, things are going to work out. But that's the B show. We had a little vegan and then we had a little raw meat. Like, I just can't. I hope you will all watch this show and then show it to your friends. And let me tell you, he put some hot sauce on that, but if you're Haitian, you know that I put some pima on it. And I'm Dev Star, and I'm signing out because only words that I have left are curse words.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.